Hello, hello. We are now live here at Open LMS to talk about this little thing that's on our screen right now, Connected 2023. Hello, Phil. How are you?
Hey, doing great.
Oh, awesome. Happy late Thanksgiving, belated Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah, so this is like recovery from Thanksgiving, right? I've got to fix a nice salad for lunch here and drink nothing but celery juice for the next 3 days.
It's true. It's true. But the cool thing about post Thanksgiving is that it's Cyber Monday today. It's Monday, November 28th, as we're broadcasting this right now. And you and I are here to talk about not only the Connected 2023 conference, but also our special deal for the 2023 conference right now that we're giving not only today, but I think for the next 3 days through the end of the month.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Go ahead. Extra 10% off the registration fee from our early bird pricing, right? That's what we're doing for Cyber Monday. Is that right?
It is true. It is true. So right now you can see this is the Connected Conference. You can come here. You can go over to the openlms.net site, learn all about it. The tickets are when early bird pricing ends and all that stuff. There's $600 for 3 days and $500 for 2 days. I think something like that. But today, for the next 3 days, we're offering for all 3 days for $405, so 10% off the early bird pricing right now. So I think it's a really good deal for 3 days of conferencing, don't you think?
I think it's a great deal. And I was actually thinking about this in my own context. Looking at what I'm going to get for holiday gifts for folks, especially when you're surrounded by folks who have most of what they need, or it's really hard. I love experiences as a gift, right? I love giving people something that they wouldn't normally do for themselves. Now, I realize for most of our clients and our community out there, this is something that's more work related than, Christmas gift related. But I think these experiences that you have at conferences and when you connect with other people are it's a really powerful thing and a motivator for people. So I like it. I shouldn't say this too loudly, but I was trying to find some fun experiences to gift my wife for Christmas. She's a very hard to gift for. So if in the comments people have gift suggestions for my wife that I need to get here on Cyber Monday, I'm open to it. But I hope a lot of our clients will take advantage of this, because I think it's and also just the broader community and the Moodle users that are out there. I think it's going to be a great time. One of the things I thought we should highlight again is just Stephen, that you might be able to talk about. Do you want to talk about like the keynote speaker that we announced a few weeks ago and what we think she's going to bring to the event?
Absolutely, 100%. That was actually the next slide that I got teed up here. But before you do that, I want to riff off what you're saying. There is not only the gift for yourself option or thought process, but also we're kind of ending the year. This is usually the time people say, hey, how can I think about, I hate to say New Year's resolutions, but look, what's 2023 going to mean for me?
Personal development.
Personal development, right? And also organizational development. So as you think about the Connected 2023 conference, Moodle users, Open LMS clients, people who are interested in, just sort of the science of online learning and whatnot. This is a great opportunity to talk with the experts. This is a great opportunity to connect. There I go, saying connect, right? But that's the reason why we named it that, like actually physically being in the same room. Like one of the things that we're going to have are these solution circles. So, if you are using a particular plugin or you are using a particular theme or, a particular technology, you're going to be able to connect with others who are using that. They have the same issues. They have the same successes. They have the same problems. It's a real opportunity to say, look, I'm going to level up my game, and have that opportunity to be real time with people.
And I'll just point out again, gift to yourself. I will say Phoenix, Arizona, end of February. I live in Indiana, where in February it's going to be miserably cold. Gift to yourself, maybe find a way to tack a day on the front end or the back end of that. Have your family come down or something, spend a couple of days. Like I'm just I'm just saying that's what I would like to do, you know.
So ice fishing for your wife that's not on the list, or
My wife really hates the cold. I don't know why we live in Indiana necessarily, but she just really doesn't do well with the cold. So um, we're coming into a difficult. We're coming into a difficult time for her because she every anyway. That's a longer story.
we can talk about that afterwards, because I agree with that. So this is what you were talking about earlier. We announced this I think 2 weeks ago as well, but super excited to have not only our opening keynote speaker, but also the person who's going to be running our leadership workshop on day one, Dr. Britt Andrietta. This is a person who has something like 10 million downloads of her courses through the LinkedIn platform. She is, such a sought after speaker that we were kind of, we had to negotiate with her about, where do we fit her in? But, this is a person, every time I've had her in a conference, or we've had her in a conference.
I think you said that wrong. Where do we fit her in? It was more like, where can she fit us in? Right. I mean, that's reality.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. But every time that she's been on a webinar with us, or a summit with us, or a podcast, she literally always is the top speaker. This is why we invited her to be the opening keynote. She gets such great feedback. Her Wired to Grow, Wired to Change, Wired to Resist, all, the 3 books that she's written, all talk about the brain science of learning and development. And then she tailors that to the context of what she's speaking. In this particular case, what are we going to look at in 2023 in the learning sector, in the higher ed sector, in the corporate learning sector, and how can we best utilize what we know from brain science, from neurology, to be most effective there. And she does it in a way that's incredibly engaging. As I said, I've had her now, I think, 4 times be a speaker, either in webinars or the summits, always the top speaker, because she follows her own advice and delivers, right? It's going to be really, really exciting to have her there. And I think she's going to set the tone for the entire conference really, really well.
I'm super excited about that, but I will say, I think I might be a little bit more excited about the leadership workshop than I am about the keynote. I mean, keynotes are great, but I always feel like you're sitting in a room and you're kind of absorbing. And when we talked to Britt about the way she was thinking about this leadership workshop, leadership and learning, the interactivity and the ability to engage not only with Britt but with your fellow practitioners, like, it feels like I mean, if you're coming to the event, I know that we offer a ticket that doesn't include the leadership workshop. I don't know why anybody would buy that. Like, you're gonna come. You're gonna come, like, you might as well come to the leadership workshop. I think Britt has something really great planned, and I just think it's going to be a little bit different format that'll really lend itself to the types of people that I think are going to be at the show. So I think I'm a little bit more excited about the leadership workshop than not that I'm not excited about the keynote, but I think it's going to be a better format for me anyway, to kind of pull things down. I'm looking forward to being there.
It's also going to be the leadership, leadership workshop as well. One, it's a full day experience, and 2, it's practical stuff that you're going to be able to walk away with and implement at Open LMS, if you're a leader at an institution or you're a leader at a company, you can go and take this back and say, hey, look, here's the 3 things that maybe we need to change or evolve or do today in our practice, right? So,
well, and I think that's very. I mean, when I go to conferences, I mean, when they're not the conferences that I have to work at, when they're the conferences I want to go to, yeah, there's the kind of the big thinking stuff, but you want to try to boil it down to some very practical. Here's something that I'm going to go change when I get back and do my regular job again. And I think the more opportunities that we can give that, I think it's great. Now, Stephen, or I know I'm supposed to call you Ladek. I still call you Stephen. Ladek.
You can call me Stephen as many times as you want. Sorry.
one of the things that I think we should point out is that we don't just want people to come to the conference. We want people to come share their stories. So can you talk a little bit about what we're looking for as far as presentations, because we want to have a lot of practitioner presentations throughout the conference. And then, like, just very logistically, practically, how do people go submit a presentation for so that we can review it and get it, lined up into the conference. Can you talk a little bit
Yeah,
about what we're how to do that?
right. Yeah, I want to tease out some of the ones that we already know are coming down or are going to be featured there, right? We have, and I'm going to butcher some of these names. I apologize. So Roland Gooden, who is, I just want to make sure I get his institution correct. He's from the Columbia Theological Seminary. He's going to be talking about implementing video in a particular way. I don't want to steal his thunder, so I don't want to give too much away here, but he's going to walk through a process that he's now come to rely upon. When I had a conversation with him, that he just thinks is a super game changer, especially for people who are in the Moodle system, about using video in their lessons. Paul Tannehill, he's going to be talking about some real fundamentals. This is a guy that I think that you've known for a while, Phil, right?
Yeah, Paul's great.
He's Lynn Benetton Community College. He's been around for forever in this space, and his proposal is just really some really practical nuts and bolts, process oriented things about getting started with managing and administering a learning management system like Moodle or like the Open LMS system. Who else do we have? We have Tonya Riney, who is another great speaker who we've had on and butt. She's from IntelliBoard, and she's going to be talking about data science, analytics, those kinds of things. One speaker I really wanted to mention as well is, I'm going to butcher her family name, I apologize, Aviva Davidodis. I apologize if that's wrong, but she's from the University of People, and she's going to be talking about how do you scale to more than 1 million students in an online platform. And I love that to sink in for a second. It's just like 1 million students in an online platform. These are all students that are real-time taking courses, those kinds of things. This is a bold vision that University of People has. And I'm really excited to hear her talk about how they are, taking steps. I mean, not that about how they're actually actualizing that. So those are just a few of the speakers that we have teed up that I wanted to mention that I think are going to be really exciting. If you want to give a presentation though, as Phil mentioned, the key to this conference working well is sharing our stories. Go to openlms.net, click on the connected banner there. You can't miss it. And then on this registration page, I'm just going to share it right now so that we're both there. If you click on it, you can see the register now button, but if you scroll down the screen here as well, there's other options. There's another option there to just click on that. It's a really simple form. I think it's 2 or 3 questions about who are you, what's your email address, what's the topic that you want. It sends me an email, then we have a conversation and we get you teed up. Really, really easy to get that done. And would love to have more, especially more of our clients coming to speak about their experiences, their challenges, their successes, etc.
I think the what I love about what we're trying to do with Connected here is, we'll have leaders, we'll have managers, we'll have a whole bunch of, but everyone I think is going to be a practitioner of online learning, and being able to share kind of at that practitioner level, I think will be really, really valuable for us. I'm also excited because I think there's going to be a really nice blend between some of our university clients and our higher education clients and our corporate learning and nonprofit clients and all that type of. So I'm curious to see, as the presentations come forward, and even as we're designing some of you were talking about the solution circles that the team is designing right now, like I'm really curious to see how the variety of clients that we have impacts the kind of the flow of the conference, right? I think it's going to be as we work it out.
Well, again, it's almost like we had an agenda that we were going to be talking about on this, that we both had in our heads, but that was the next thing I wanted to mention, that every time I go and I talk about the podcast, or I bring a new guest on, the first thing they ask is, what's your audience like? And we know that, we have a lot of higher education focus with our clients, but we have this really large chunk of corporate clients as well. And there's going to be this great mix. And I don't know about you, Phil, but as somebody who kind of gets to sit on the sidelines every day and talk to these, each of these people, I don't find that the problems that, the two quote unquote sectors have all that different about learner engagement, about getting people to show up, about course completion, about, diving in the material and then sharing it with others. And so that's where I would love that gap, that perceived gap, to be bridged and really see some collaborations there. And I wonder what kind of potential partnerships or potential pathways could come out of those conversations, because we know that is still a real perceived gap. Like, how do we get learners from the higher ed into the corporate space, right?
Well, maybe part of the problem is that we're still calling it, two different segments or sectors, right? Because we know that higher education institutions are working directly on, training their faculty, but they're also working with corporations on helping them deliver better credentials. And we know that community colleges are partnering with, and further education institutions are partnering with companies directly to deliver training and onboarding. So like maybe the fact that maybe we're the ones that are behind by talking about it as two different segments anymore. Like the world is changing quickly, and that line is becoming, I think, super blurry. And I think you're right. Those problems and our challenges are the same. At the end of the day, we at Open LMS, we believe it's actually in our mission statement that learning and education is the great empowerer of people and leveler of society, right? And I think I'm sure that everybody that's going to come to the Open LMS Connected conference is going to have some version of that same perspective, because that's why we're in this industry. That's what we're here to do. So I think we're going to see some interesting stuff, and I'm excited to your point, to kind of purposefully mix things up a little bit and see if there are some connections that are drawn that wouldn't normally be drawn.
Well, I thought it was also prescient that this is about a little over a month ago, or a little less than a month ago, that DevLearn and EDUCAUSE were the same week. And yet we saw, the conversations we saw coming out of both of those, one focused on corporate learning, one focused on the higher ed, the high flex, hybrid, micro learning, micro credential universe. These are all the same conversations that are happening. And so for me, I'm starting to try to just say, this is the future of learning, right? Like the future of learning is this blend, and we can't have this division any longer. So I just think that's the reality.
I mean, some things, the funding models and, whatever, some of those things are going to be different forever, but that doesn't mean that the purpose, the mission, and even the approach can't be the same, or we can't learn. So I think it's going to be great. And as I said, Phoenix at the end of February, if you're coming from a northern state, now you're coming from Mexico City, it won't be a big change for you, but coming from Indiana, assuming that my plane isn't covered in ice, and I can get there, the Phoenix weather will be lovely in February. I'm excited.
Ironically, at 7,500 feet, going to Phoenix will be quite a nice.
Yeah, it'll be chilly. It'll be chilly for you, but it won't be. You won't have snow and ice, though. You don't get to deal with that.
So let's remind everybody. So what we're talking about here today, we're talking about the Connected Conference from Open LMS. It happens on February 28th. March 1 and 2, 2023. It's 3 days of conference. The first day is workshops, intensive workshops, leadership sessions, and other sessions that we're putting together. And then the second 2 days are going to be presentations and other activities focused on the solutions and the problems and the successes that you deal with every day as a practitioner in this space. But today, what we're really talking about is our early bird, our Cyber Monday special, which is 10% off our early bird price, which gets us to $405 for 3 days. It's no joke.
That's unheard of for a conference of this importance, right? I mean, exactly. I kind of feel like I should be one of those guys on the car commercial. Sunday. I don't know what to think of Cyber Monday, right? I mean, are people out there, like, are people planning their days around Cyber Monday deals? Is that a thing?
Post pandemic, I think it's just a thing now, because Black Friday starts on November 1st, really. And, and it all bleeds together, but it's a great excuse.
Yeah, it's a good little forcing function to get us to talk about it. I don't even think I went and looked at any cyber. Maybe I should. Maybe there's something out there that I desperately need, but I haven't even looked at any Cyber Monday deals yet. So
I'm sure that there's an online retailer that will be happy to take your credit card. But before you do that, go to openlms.net and definitely
click on Connected
2023. Thank you so much, Phil. I wish you
my pleasure.
Say again, sorry.
My pleasure. It's always great to chat with you, and I'm excited about the buildup that's leaving. I mean, what are we? Well, it's the 28th. So what are we exactly? December, January, 3 months. 3 months away. So we got to be, people have to be getting lined up and get their plane tickets or their rental car, whatever they need. And we'll see them in Phoenix.
Sounds good, man. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.